Welcome back to the ABC Podcast. 130 Coast Marcellus out here with B. Ellis and A. Millie. We just got done with TNC 01, a monumental event. It was phenomenal. The energy in the freaking gym was electric. We have a lot to talk about, but not to be too long-winded. We're going to be short and precise, and let's get straight into it. Let's go ahead and dive into what we saw that last matchup, because it's fresh on everybody's mind, between Nas and Frigga. What'd you guys see? 30-7. It's very dominant, extremely dominant. And man, he showed his different levels to this.
Yeah, I was about to say one word: levels. Levels, man.
Yeah.
Counters, knocking down shots, jab three, getting downhill, defending. Frigga got downhill a couple times, blue bomb. He recovered and blocked the shot. Just showed levels tonight, bro.
Yeah. I mean, Nas, he's a warrior, man.
Yeah.
He's like destined for one-on-one basketball greatness, bro. But basketball breakdown-wise, I just think, man, Frigga could not get a line drive to the basket. Nas just forced him into really tough shots in the deep wing. And then Nas was able to face up and then he hit the triple threat three at like an 80% rate. So
yeah.
It's just, it's a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup for Frigga.
So Nas comes to the table after the game. He's like, don't line me up with nobody unless it's going to be a legit one. We all had a name in mind. Got to be Zay.
Yeah.
Zay. Nas, Zay, pay-per-view 2. Got to be the main event.
Yeah.
I know Nas called out Briscoe, but I think this business has to be handled before we move on to a game like that. 1-2. And I think that's the interesting thing about the night. Now they're clearly 1-2.
Yeah.
Rob lost. He was in the convo. So it's really Nas and Zay sitting up there right now. They got to figure that out.
Yeah, I think it's clear who should be the main event in TNC 2. Two of the most dominant players. Nas has been doing it for a few years. Zay coming to the scene, bursting into the scene, doing great things. It's obvious.
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear about any other matchup for a main event TNC 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly.
I mean, unless it's a Rob versus Nas. But I think Rob has some unfinished business with Scoob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went on Instagram and said he's pretty much going back overseas. I think he was a little upset with how the officiating was tonight.
He went on IG and said that?
I think he posted on the story. But I think he was a little upset with the officiating. The officiating, I think, could have been a little better that game, maybe. They allowed him to be super physical, especially Scoob. Scoob got into his space. He frustrated Rob very early on. You could see it. He's being physical with him, and the refs just allowed it to happen. So there was no adjustment made on Rob's end. I think that's kind of why Scoob walked out with the victory.
I just wonder, why wasn't Rob more physical if the game was allowed to be that way?
Correct.
I understand Rob is a professional. He's been a professional in China for like the past year before he came back. One, this is his first real one-on-one back. Two, he should know that based on where Scoob plays a lot.
Yeah.
I know this is next chapter, which is a different environment, but you got to know the physicality is going to be taken up a notch, being the fact that you just did him like that in the first game.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I wish Rob would have adjusted to how things were being called.
Yeah. I also think Scoob just executed
100%
on defense, the game plan. I understand, and we'll watch the film back when we get back to the hotel, but I can't say that it was like egregious fouling, if I'm being honest, from what I'm registering as of right now. I have not watched the film back. We haven't.
Right.
This is right after. So I could change my mind, but from watching it, of course it's physical. The one-on-one space does allow for more physicality. I do remember Scoob being obviously super physical and some hard fouls in there. But and then I remember some drives where, both guys probably could have got a foul call.
Right.
So I'm not saying that definitively, either side, but we can't, Scoob executed, he wanted it, he was prepared, he played an A+ game. I just thought it was his night, you know what I mean? It's basketball.
Right.
Scoob won tonight, in my opinion.
To be honest with you, Mills, I agree. Because adjustments have to be made on how the game is being called. I mean, things like that happen in real basketball.
In the moment.
I mean, this is an NBA Finals type of vibe.
Yeah.
It's a finals, it's a championship vibe in every game for 5K or whether that be 10K for the championship match. So it's like, you have to be able to adjust. It's always going to be called tougher in
Yeah.
championship games.
And all we can ask from the refs is to be consistent on both sides.
That's it.
And we do want to keep it more so clean, but there's that gray area of it is one-on-one basketball. You have to let them bump it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But we don't want it to be egregious fouling. We don't want it to be, I'm beating you because I'm fouling. That's not what the next chapter is.
Yeah. Right.
But you still have to let them battle. And I thought they refed every game kind of differently.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that game was, they let them play a little bit more. So
I agree.
it's tough, but what's up next game?
Well, I want to say one thing about Scoob too. Like I said, it's regardless of the foul calls that may have not been called or anything, Scoob still made shots.
I mean, he shot
still
a
put the
high
ball in the hand.
percentage.
He shot. He was getting very good shots. And like I said, I took my hat to Scoob, bro. He went out there, came with a game plan from checkup.
Yeah.
He executed, and he lived with the result, and the result was in his favor today.
Yeah.
Now we can talk about a little bit about the Nesco versus Moon.
Take off.
Nesco was up 16-4. Moon walks him down 26-9 to win the game.
That's crazy.
In Moon fashion, in classic La Moon
Yeah.
fashion. As he said on the podcast, he's like, you don't get classic OG Moon. So just seeing that in person, though, seeing 19 in this corner, like that matters.
Yes.
Like for Moon, like 19 is on the ref's side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, Moon, don't worry about the refs. I got it. For someone like that to take control of that and you just play,
Yeah.
that is also a part of like what makes a great team in a 1v1 space. But it was a special moment, fellas. What'd you see out there, Millie?
Well, I thought, first of all, hats off to Nesco and his battle to come back and even play in this pay-per-view. I mean, he's a pro's pro. He's put on pounds of muscle and maintained his basketball ability, and I just respect him so much for everything that he's been through, shining a light in a negative time and bouncing back. So his performance was not surprising to me. I was really impressed by down the stretch when Moon cut off his scoring. You know what I mean? Like, it was really consistent, steady scoring from Nesco, and then at some point there was no more. So I thought that Moon's defensive performance was like it always is. He tightened up as the game went on, and it was just a gritty kind of upset win for Moon, and he's back in the top 5, I believe. Or we'll talk about
What's up?
it.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Jab 3. He made him.
Yeah.
And I want to say, clean game from Nesco defensively.
Yes, always. Low-key.
Yeah, like it was good.
Yeah.
Just Nesco just couldn't close.
Yeah.
Because Moon just kept recovering, block, stop. And Moon made the adjustment because he was jumping so early. He finally just said, I'm going to stay and anchor these feet down. I'm not jumping. You have to shoot over me. And I think that was the adjustment right there. But yeah, Nesco was phenomenal, like I said.
Yeah.
I would love to actually see that matchup again, just because that technically could have been a trilogy moment.
Yes.
But I think they have one more in the tank to do a fourth matchup.
Yeah.
It's 2-1. But then you have to do the
fifth.
Yeah. I don't know. That might be a little tricky.
We'll see, yeah.
And then I guess we could talk about could have been game of the night emotionally. Mike versus Cam.
Let me take that one, man. I think Mike just started way too slow. I think he was emotionally way too invested into the game, and he started extremely slow. But Cam changed his game. That was not the typical Cam. Started from the volleyball line, getting a head full of steam, attacking left and right.
Right.
I just think Cam really showed that he's been in the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's been putting in the work and like hitting the 3-ball defensively. He looked faster. He looked a step faster today than what he normally is. I haven't seen Mike blown by like that in a while. And it was a few times today that Cam blew by him. So, I mean, I just got to tip my hat to Cam and show respect that he played a really great, clean game, efficient game.
I will say for Mike, it's hard to adjust in real time when someone starts from half.
Yes.
So remember on the podcast when we try to get at him, like, what do what are your tactics that you're going to try to work your game plans? I'm not going to tell you my game plan.
Yeah.
But the game plan was for sure to check up higher, start downhill because he's faster. Man, but I thought Mike's strength would have played a key into that. But today, just a faster person. Cam was more elusive. Cam was just more tactical with everything. And he walked him down in the fashion of like every possession, you're gonna have to work for something. There ain't no easy ones.
Yeah.
Ain't no easy ones. And then
Yeah.
he closed the gap, closed the door, and then his, laugh. Yeah.
That was tough.
That was hilarious.
tough. That was tough, bro. Go ahead, Mills.
I thought strategically was the biggest jump for Cam because he's always been kind of a wild card,
Yep.
or I would say this past year he's been a wild card. You travel around a lot in this space, you play a lot of games, you kind of get caught in it. But for this, he was able to kind of like hunker down and focus on one game. He got into great shape, which is sometimes an issue. But then for me, and even just we got to see him work out a little bit, he was a lot more strategic than he's ever been. And if you talk to the top guys in the space, they value the strategy, mental aspect, and I thought that's where Cam was best. He was maybe a step faster, half a step faster, but I thought more than anything, I thought his strategy was A+ and made a jump. And I think Mike just got too emotionally riled up early, whereas I think if anything, you work up to that, you go on a run and but he kind of like dumped that early, and that's not really Mike. You know what I mean? So
Zay Tay had about 3 stoppages because of technical difficulties. They even tried at one point, I think, to restart the game, go 0-0.
Shout out to those two for
shout out to
just
those
being
guys.
pros.
Yeah,
they just handled that great.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I told Tay, man, I don't really hold this against him at all.
No.
It's kind of like one of those situations like, hey, man, you fought through, woo-doo-woo, all this happened. Both those guys, to me, are just extreme professionals.
Yeah.
That was if there's a good loss that exists though, like Tay performed well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Zay went on that crazy run where he hit 4 threes in a row. Outside of that, it's neck and neck.
Yeah.
Like it didn't look like a mismatch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Zay scored differently. Zay stepped out, and that's Zay's got layers to him. It's not just downhill. He stepped out and knocked down 4 threes in a row.
He's special.
Yeah.
He's special. I think what I saw from both guys was they came to the game. They allowed the game to come to them a little bit. Zay was trying to see what was there early. Tay was trying to fill him out early too. But it got to a point where we said the string of buckets, it has to come. And Zay, when he strings them off, it's...
Yes.
We were saying in totality, that 1v1 might have been less than like 12 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, in real time. Like in 1v1 time, but yeah.
Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Because Tay is not no pushover. You know what I mean? Like, Zay is really special.
Brothers, Zay came by me before the game, right by the tent. I said, bro, this is your toughest comp. This is going to be the toughest. If you score and you go crazy today, this is tough. Because Tay is one of the best two-way defenders in the space, if not the best. He came to me right after the game. He was like, B, yeah. Like, to me, that 3-ball barrage obviously was a separator.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't go on that, we're talking about a nip and tuck game throughout the entirety of the time.
Right.
Yep.
So, I mean, hats off the board. They were pros today.
We can say, though, it wasn't like a matchup issue that we've seen with Zay before. You know what I mean? It was like great bump. He went on a crazy run.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying, hats off to Zay for pulling that out.
And Tay was one hook shot away from closing that gap even closer.
Yeah. I mean, he lost 30-23 with that kind of run in there. It was respectful.
Yeah. Remember, I think after that hook shot, I don't know if he touched the ball again. 'Cause I think it was
he didn't.
28-23, right?
He didn't.
Yeah, so that was
didn't.
kind of tough.
Yeah.
Which, this is kind of a perfect segue to go straight into the top 5, fellas. I think there's a discussion to be had. Some people in the community are going to be upset, but I say we get straight into this top 5, man. It's not about being harsh, it's about being realistic. Some people are going to be unhappy with what's about to be said here. We don't have to go in order. We can just say who's in the top 5, or we can rank them.
You want to rank them? I'm with all of them.
I know we're not going to agree on a few.
We can
I'm
touch
gonna
on it. We could kind of touch on it. We don't have to solidify anything.
Yeah, we could take our time and solidify, but we could say who's in the top 5 without non-ranking. Just say the names that we're thinking.
Can we get to a top 3?
Well, top 3 has got to be
Nas, Zay.
Nas and Zay,
So
one or two.
Scoob's 3.
Scoob goes to 3.
Scoob goes 3.
I'm not mad at that.
My 4th would be, I would have Rob 5. No, I would have Rob
4. Moon 5.
Moon 5.
It's just the way Moon came back into the scene.
I know.
Like that.
Right after, this seems like a good top 5. We got to let it marinate a little bit, but
Right.
I think that sounds good to me.
Because you got to think, Cam is outside 7'6". He's sitting right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And-
think, yeah.
And like, can we knock Rob all the way out top 5 because he has one loss?
No.
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 You know what I mean?
No.
Can't.
That's what makes it hard.
I mean, there's an argument for Rob to where it's like it's 1-1 with Scoob. So it's like, why is he above? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's 3-4 though,
yeah.
regardless. But I think Moon is 5. He's in there now.
I think he's legit at
That's,
5.
I mean, you beat Nesco.
where does Friga?
That's a great
Where does
win for
Friga go?
resume.
I think Friga drops below Cam, drops below. Well, he beat Isote, but it's like I think he's right there with Isote. They flip flop. So I think Friga drops around to the 7, 8, 9 realm. In my personal opinion,
I wouldn't
just
be
because of
mad
the
at that.
magnitude of the loss. 30-7 was so bad. We can't have you in the top 5.
Yeah.
But then it's like Cam wins. That has to be.
It has to
counted for.
shoot him up, yeah.
Isote played very well against Zay. Isote also played better against Nas than Friga did. So, like all that has to be an account.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
a
what
fun
makes it hard.
space though. It's cool that people just move up and down.
fluid.
Like that. Yeah, it's
I think, man, that win margin has to matter too.
it does.
Oh, yeah.
Eye test, win
man,
margin.
So
It's tough.
does Nas stay at 1?
Well,
or-
he's got Zay.
Oh
at one.
man,
Zay
I
at
think,
one.
man, it's tough, bro. Because you think about I didn't really think about the win margin until like just now. Them jokers might be tied. Like I don't know, bro.
T for first?
Yeah, I don't know.
You could do that. Like co-MVPs.
No, I don't want to. I'm
can't,
gonna
though.
stand on something.
Everything considered, I got Nas at 1 still.
I'm gonna just disagree with you. I'm gonna have
Zay-
Zay still at 1.
Zay still at 2.
I mean,
And
what more does...
and honestly, it's not even gonna matter because their game is gonna decide. They have to play each other, so like it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
100%.
You know, the fact that they're 1 and 2, whether you have Zay 1 or Nas 2, it's not gonna matter.
They're still in a
They're gonna
collision
play
course.
and they're gonna decide it.
Yeah.
They're gonna decide for us.
It's just hard to have someone that hasn't lost, that's beat Nesco, Scoob, Nas,
Yeah.
Isote,
Fombi.
Fombi. Like, he's beating all
Bird,
these guys.
Scar.
Bird, Scar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Day. Like, he's beating all these guys.
No, he's only undefeated 1 left. But you know,
Oh.
I've thoroughly laid out my argument. for
Correct.
Nas.
But you don't have to dive into it.
yeah, I'm not
But,
gonna dive into it.
Like, it's just a special topic to have, but I think it's a good discussion for especially you guys in the comments to have that same thing, because what Zay and Nas bring to this is kind of what like a Steph Curry and LeBron act.
Bro, they're like they
everybody's
separated themselves, I feel,
yeah,
tonight. You know what I mean? Like they
That's it. Like, it's
destined.
like Pat Mahomes and whoever. I mean, Pat
Go
by himself.
ahead.
He by himself.
No,
right?
he's not. He's not by
And
himself.
then it's like Lamar, Jalen Hurts.
No,
Allen.
It
why
was,
did you say Lamar
yeah.
first? It's like
Well, it's
Lamar, Josh Allen.
Pat,
Josh Allen.
Like right here.
Lamar, Josh
Lamar,
Allen.
Josh Allen.
No, like this. Pat, Lamar, Josh Allen.
No, Pat, Lamar, Josh Allen.
Pat, Lamar, Josh Allen. Right there. But yeah, I think they separate themselves for sure. Like I said, it's kind of like a Steph Curry and LeBron James. Those two are such like etched in stone. Like
Yeah.
they're like, those are your two, those are the guys.
Yep.
Even though they're on their way out of the league pretty soon these next few years here, it's like those still are the guys I think for Zay and Nas.
Yeah.
I think they're always going to be right there.
So,
Yeah.
quick question before we get up out of here. Who do you guys, obviously we have Zay and Nas being the main event of TNC2. Scoob and Moon are 1-1.
Oh,
That's
that may be
true.
the next matchup. That's great.
Scoob and Moon are 1-1.
That's true. And it's kind of hard to be physical with Moon just because he's so elusive.
Right.
He's just like he's dang near like a myth. It's like slide by.
Yes.
It's a different look.
It is.
He's slithery.
He's
for
slithery.
sure.
They're both 1-1 right now.
Yeah.
That's
And
a great matchup.
What's Scoob and Nesco? 1-0?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Great
wouldn't
game.
be mad at that.
I wouldn't be mad at that at all either.
True. So Scoob can really like.
Yeah, because
double
we're not going to act
back
like Nesco didn't do enough to land another one.
Yeah,
Bro, Nesco
Yeah,
is
he
so
did.
good.
He did enough to land
Yeah.
another one.
Nesco at some point will be back in the
Yeah.
everyone's top 5.
Yeah.
And these are just fun combos. Like
Because everybody, there's people on the side that want to play in the next one. Like they're saying, I need to be in that next one. I need to be in that next one. I'm like, hey, it can't be given. People gotta want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotta be matches that people want to see.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if they're paying top dollar or they're paying their hard-earned money to see a match that they don't want to see, it's kind of hard to kind of
yeah.
support that. But I think today there was a match that everybody wanted to see,
Yes.
especially
Yep.
the fans would have won.
It was
so.
a great night.
I do want to say, although the streaming site wasn't successful
Yeah.
in terms of their end, this was amazing for the fans to actually see the actual product
Yep.
Yeah.
on YouTube, to be like, okay, when there is a pay-per-view event,
Yeah.
I'm going to invest this $20.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like, just got the rundown about all of it. The streaming platform is extremely apologetic. It's all on them. And it's just, you know, production crew is so amazing here, and everything has been like, you know, we've been here for 4 days, like, you know,
Yeah.
waiting for this moment, and then it's something that we have no control over, and somebody else logged out of a system.
Yeah.
Somebody else logged out, which is kind of another conversation. Kind of weird.
Insane.
Maybe
isn't it?
somebody like competition scared. I don't know what the case is. Conspiracy theory, but yeah, man. God works in mysterious ways. I think it's all going to work out,
Yeah.
and it worked exactly how it was supposed to.
Last thing I'm gonna say, fellas, if you guys want to add anything onto it, is just once we walk out these doors, we have to realize the moment. There's never gonna be a TNC 01 after this.
Yeah, bro.
This is the standard. This was history. This was the first of its kind.
Yeah.
And now from here, it's more so, okay, how can we continue to grow?
Yeah.
But like, when you really walk out the door, soak in the moment and say, wow, we were a part of something so monumental that there'll never be another
Bless.
TNC 01.
Bless,
Yep.
man.
You know,
Bless.
and I'm honored to do with you guys by my
Yeah.
side, man. This has been
Likewise,
a journey for me
brother.
and myself to be with the ABC crew of people that you have chemistry with just naturally.
Yeah.
You don't find that often in this space. So I'm gonna give credit
Okay.
to you guys, man, for, you know, continuing to just be better in the space and uplifting it. You know what I mean? So,
Likewise, bro, you know
Likewise.
what's going on. You know what's going on. You know the vibe.
yeah.
On me. Shout us out, brother. I ain't got
Hey.
nothing to say after that.
That's the
Great.
ABC crew pod, man. TNC 01 wrapped up. We'll see you guys in TNC 2. Peace.